Sup YouTube, I'm 64 and today I thought I'd look into two of my sub specials, the 50 sub specials, since I made two 50 sub specials. Those were countdowns on the top 10 hardest and easiest bosses to beat in Miitopia. So today I did the same thing, but with normal enemies instead, and there's no easiest list because that would be too boring. Like with many top 10s though, this list has some rules. 1. I will only count enemies on the list, assuming as you were fighting them with me at the level you are supposed to fight them at. And if there's an enemy subspecies who will be counted, but have an entirely superior subspecies, will be butchered and replaced with that stronger subspecies on the list. So be sure to hit like and subscribe, as well as share this video or channel to those you love. And with that being said, let's go! Jesus! Oh, what the fuck? Wizened owls are a subspecies of owlet, sharing a similar moveset to the owl boss fight from Realm of the Fae. A simple concept of a tanky enemy with access to the distraction status effect, which I assume you already know, is a ridiculous defense down. While distraction is commonly used by Miis, enemies can have access to the status too, and can use the status in the same way Miis use it. And considering how Miis use the status, that is simply a horrifying thought. Another troublesome fact with these owls are their usual allies in battle, hobgoblin bullies and medusas, all prime attackers who can become extremely volatile once their damage output is buffed. And the bird itself also has a high attack stat to abuse the status, as well as a high defense stat to stick around for long periods of time. The main drawback with the wizened owls is that they could have allies who are stronger than their current attacking partners. That would catapult this enemy higher and quickly, in addition to having a major weakness to dance, another status Miis can abuse. But overall, this enemy is strong and bulky, and part of some of the most infuriating enemy groups in the main game. So they deserve a solid spot on the list. Welcome back. That wasn't happiness on my face. If you've seen my top 10 hardest bosses list before, which you should eventually do, shameless plug, you might be confused, since, spoilers, these mischievous masterminds were actually ranked as number 4 there. But AGM, aren't normal enemies weaker than bosses? What gives? Well, listen to me. When you fight 3 deadly demons in a boss fight, your team's level is around 17. However, the low level is actually the reason they are menacingly hard. Later on, in a main post-game quest in Sinister Plan, you see deadly demons in normal enemy battles. But at that point, your Miis are way stronger than they were at level 17. If at least 8 more levels matter to you. But there, they actually aren't that hard to kill. Yes, they got power. Oh shit, Sherlock. Yes, they got status, and Nervous is quite an annoying status. But as for bulk, they don't have much against Miis at level 25, as well as being another victim of the dance status. Really, the only reason I ranked them here is due to the trio in the boss fight. Without them, I wouldn't even give these guys a second thought. They just wouldn't be here. But still, you simply can't deny their power is through the stratosphere. Oh boy, where do I begin? This is the giant UFO, one of the most annoying enemies in the game that can kill unprepared teams quickly. Its decent attack stat is one thing, and its stealing HP bananas is another big thing, especially when factoring its most seen ally, which we'll get to later. Overall, what sets this enemy down is that it practically requires offensive allies to be truly disgusting. Without other allies, it's just a somewhat weak, really bulky enemy. Not a cakewalk, but still not challenging. Just very stalling. The Enchanted Goddess hate continues. This time, we are greeted with an offensive juggernaut who hits like a truck and has some decent bulk to its name. I am sorry, did I say truck? I meant draconic truck, thank you, since this beast is a magic attacker. With its oppressive magic stat and the move Mega Explosion, this thing hits for absurd numbers, while it chugs off hits pretty well with its decent bulk. The main problem with it is the lack of a passive. One more time would allow this Rayquaza-like dragon to be truly insane. But since it lacks that, it can still die somewhat easily, especially since its main weakness is the use of barriers. Specifically Mage's barriers for their sky-high magic stats. It also lacks a status, which could actually be really good for it. But honestly, that might be a bit too broken. Keep it as is. Welp, Corona time! Oh boy! Clever running noses are, well, running noses. Takes no scientist to figure that one out. The enemies that deal tons of damage by sneezing. Yeah, those. I think I don't need to explain why this thing is here. Spoilers, Enchanted f***ing Galados! These nosy brats are responsible for making a part of Enchanted Goddess insanely catastrophic. Not to mention the fact that they partner up with the previously mentioned giant UFOs pretty damn frequently. One notable thing I must point out is that there is another running nose type, the wild running nose, who are superior than their clever brethren in every stat except for speed, as clever running noses are actually slightly faster than their wild brethren. The clever running noses also appear much more frequently, and are always challenging when all Miis are on level. As you can see here, these running noses are insanely tough to beat, and have troubled me at least a couple of times in the past. So yeah, just expect the enemies from here on out to be really, really annoying. Without further ado, let's go! Fire, fire, fire. Isn't fire brutal? There are many enemies in Miitopia that the community says are annoying. But I wonder why people don't get annoyed by this burning garbage. It's really, really annoying. Flaming Winds are magic attackers with a terrifying equal to Mii's magic, besides mage damage output, and a scary status in burn for extra pain. I swear it's like being heated in a stove or something. Individually, one wind isn't the worst thing in the world. However, these things often come in teams, usually a pair of 2 winds, which is already a struggle, sometimes with other tough beasts, and at one point 4 winds at once! Why Nintendo at good feel? Do you want us all to be burning in hell? Oh wait, this is what we experienced already with these things! They hit horribly on the physical side, but they still hit hard. Best of luck out there. Allow me to surprise you. Aside from the obvious, there's only one new Lumos enemy on the list. Here it is! The Face Cerberus is a Cerberus subspecies, and like all Cerberus subspecies, it acts the same way as Cerberus. The reason it's here is because it is built like a normal boss, only extremely frail in comparison. It attacks thrice, it has a high attack stat, it has Nightmare, all the goodies. Another thing worth mentioning here are the face Cerberus's possible allies, the major ones being retro computers and trolls. All incredible allies for it, although support allies like Wizard the Owls will be incredibly beneficial for it. Basically what I'm saying is that this enemy acts like a boss and has good allies, hence its spot on the list. So let's just move on. Same as before, weaker than before, but scarier than before nonetheless. The Blue Minotaur is on the list for the same reason as the Face Cerberus, a boss-like enemy with very annoying allies, only for its respective level of play, it does its job of killing even better than the Face Cerberus. If you listen to what I said about the Face Cerberus, you'll probably understand why this cowhand is on the list. This is one of the enemies I fear the most in challenge runs. That's all due to its strength. Its normal attacks and especially Earthquake are very, very brutal, so it deserves a spot on the list for sure. Fire users again, eh? Of course. Do I really have to explain why this enemy is on this list? Look at its damage output, for God's sake! That's just disgusting! The Red Dragon is a fast and insanely strong enemy, a great attacker with access to the ever-annoying scared status. I won't say much here, except, you know the video where I buffed the new Lumos bosses? The way I buffed the Dragon Lord there was heavily inspired by the Red Dragon. And seeing as the way I replicated the Red Dragon's power is with a 400 attack stat, yeah, this dragon packs a serious punch. And it always challenges me, no matter the run, except for one run where I cheesed it. It really is the hardest enemy to beat in Miitopia, except for the obvious. What did you expect? A surprise? Because you ain't getting one! Let's see. Unparalleled speed? Check. Disgustingly high magic that leads to no damage taken from magic attacks and outgoing magic attacks of its own? Check. Do I need to say more? This is by far the most hated normal enemy in Miitopia, aside from the bird whose name we do not speak of. On the practical level, this isn't that bad. Fiends have a major weakness to Hyper Sprinkle for their physical frailty. But the thing is, you practically need to waste at least one Hyper Sprinkle on them. And they always have a chance to show up since the 3rd district. This leads to problem in later fights where Hyper Sprinkles are needed, if they're needed. I don't need to say much more, as I think I got my point across, so... Well, that's it.